Last night, or Sunday night, depends on when you're watching this, we had another gift of an episode from TLC of Sister Wives Season 18. In this episode, the wives and Cody sit in different spaces and they talk about some past clips that have been on the show. We get to hear what their thoughts were as we were watching the show and what really happened. There was one that really kind of surprised me in a reaction that one of the wives had. But what we got were 5 Browns a talking, 4 women watching, 3 kids who still talk to him, 2 curls a dangling, and a narcissist married to a crybaby. All right, y'all, we're going to be right back after the jingle. Keep the love light shining in your eyes so true. Let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you. Welcome back, everybody. Now, the first thing I will tell you is that this will not be a play-by-play review. The reason why is because these are all episodes and caps that we've done in the past. We've talked about them sort of ad nauseum. And so we're just hearing what they have to say about those things. So I'm just going to jump to some moments that jumped out at me. A lot of my moments, I can tell you right now, kind of go back to the person that irks me the most in this whole thing. The person who kind of took this family apart, not by herself, but definitely did help take this family apart and now takes no accountability, Miss Robyn herself. I also want to say that did y'all catch that beautiful sexy top that Janelle was wearing? If you didn't, go back and watch that. Now, she covered it with a jacket, but that little sexy top tie at the neck. Girl, come on out of that shell, Janelle. Come on out of that shell. She said that it's going to be a while before she looks to get married, but I don't know. Janelle is feeling herself. Come on, feeling yourself. Go ahead, Janelle. You better feel yourself. You have earned the right to feel yourself. All right. So, of course, I said that we're going to be looking at some clips that really sort of jumped out at me. And one of the first clips is of Robyn sitting on the couch. Now, she had watched a clip before. And after they sort of talked about the kids when they were young and talked about Cody as a dad, she jumps in and says, well, this is the family that I fell in love with. Well, did you though, Robyn? Did you?
They were able to sort of establish this one family concept that was something I wanted to be a part of. And that was a big deal to me.
So they established this big one family concept, and that is what you wanted to be a part of. But again, let's think back. You did not come into the family with a one family mind frame. Now, let's remember, just for the sake of talking about the fact that she wanted to be in this one family sort of thing. When she moved from her part of Utah, it was said that she lived about 5 hours away, right? So when she moved down to be closer, and if you could see me, you'd see me doing the quote fingers, closer to the Brown family, she still lived in a house that was her own. Now, granted, she could not live in the house with the Browns because there were only 4 apartments. I am assuming that they sort of had the same sort of hiccup that they did later on in Vegas, where they could not find her something closer to the 4 apartment home. But still, it was already set up that you were going to be apart. The time that you did have people sort of come over and be a part of your family was when McKelty or Maddie or some of the other young ladies would come over and watch your children. So you're establishing them as help, but not from the wives. You're taking help from the girls. Why wouldn't you maybe drive down to where the Browns were? I understand you're courting Cody, but let the wives get to know your children in a way where they sort of meld into the family. Let them start watching the kids. Go and have a dinner or a date out in their area. Now, would he want you to drive back by yourself? Probably not, but there's ways to work that out. Make your drive time some of the time that you spent with Cody, because here's what it might have done. And I say might because, you know, we've all been there. We've all been teenagers and married and all that good stuff. Maybe on your drives back, you have this wonderful conversation. You're talking, you're doing what you do when you date. But then you drop her off and Cody turns around and he comes home. Maybe you're not going to be as inclined to get yourself in trouble when driving in a car. Now, we do know that Robyn said a lot of memories were made in the car, but that was not until Vegas. So let's just say that perhaps if you take the little two-seater, there's not a whole lot of trouble you can get into there. There's some trouble, but not a whole lot. But maybe you really, if you had thought a little bit more about that and you were really trying to keep yourself for marriage and not breaking any of the rules of polygamy and how you date, maybe there could have been a better way to think that out. But of course you didn't. So here we are, 18 years or however many years later, and your family has fallen apart.
Does everybody remember Robyn? Yes. Do you guys like Robyn? Yeah. Well, Robyn likes us. We were beginning to feel like there was somebody else. I was starting to feel like I would comment to Christine, gosh, we sure need another one. It's getting kind of boring, you know? Yeah, Meri made comments like that too. And I'd be like, you guys are insane. It's fine how it is. I don't want to rock the boat. But I sort of felt like there was somebody else coming. Robyn has her choice, but I feel like that we should invite Robyn to come into our family. Okay. Okay.
So as you can hear, the kids were excited to have Robyn and her children come into the family. They liked Robyn. They loved her children. But again, it was Robyn who put the distance and the divide in the family. He asks them, do you like Robyn? Yes, we do. Are you excited that she might come? Yes, well, she likes us. She wants us to be a part of her family. She wants to be a part of our family. But I will say the one thing that I noticed and that was said was that Christine was happy with the way things were. Christine had already sort of cemented where she wanted to be in the family, and it sort of knocked her out of that spot. Now, let me say this because I was accused, I'm using that word, of not wanting to see Christine happy. I absolutely want to see Christine happy. If you have at all listened to my videos, I refer to Christine as Queen Christine. But let's just remember, y'all, two things can be true at the same time. I can love Christine down. She is my girl. As a matter of fact, she is my friend in my head. If I had her number, I would call her and wish her a Merry Christmas. But she can also be someone who can be catty and snarky and whatever. Does she deserve to be? Absolutely. She totally deserves. After all the years that she endured what she endured, she can say, do, and feel however she wants. But I can also say, do, and feel however I want. And I have an opinion. If you've listened to my videos, you hear me have an opinion. Okay, that's all it is. We all have them. But I do love Christine. But I will point out that Christine did not want to add anyone else to the family. It was not specifically Robyn that she did not want to add, although Robyn turned into somebody that I would have wanted to go away. Okay? Robyn has taken this position that everything is Christine's fault. But that is not how it was. And I'm going to prove that also. And those of you who've been watching this show will say that I'm right. But I got receipts. The receipts have been played by others, but I'm going to play the receipts on over here. But this is just to show you that the kids liked Robyn. They were open to her and her children coming into the family. Christine did have a little bit of a problem with it, but Janelle and Meri both said, hey, listen, we could have somebody else come on in. It's getting a little boring. Let's add some fresh meat to the fire. Let's have another person. The more the merrier. So when you're saying that this family was not safe for you, Robyn, it's a lie. When you're saying that you did not ever feel welcome, your children did not ever feel welcome, it's a lie. That is why I feel safe and secure. Just like you sat on the porch and called Christine a liar, I'm going to call you a liar because all signs point to you were welcomed into this family. You were accepted into this family. And because they didn't do what you wanted them to do, you got mad and started to say they didn't accept you. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Then, of course, we jump to the conversation again about the dress. When Cody drops the bomb in an interview that he picked the dress. Now, if you're watching this talkback, you see down in the corner box that Robyn goes, no, he didn't, with this little snark. I could just hear her go, no, he didn't. Well, of course he did. He did, because he said, I wanted to be a part of that experience. Why his wives were out picking the dress without him, he didn't understand. Well, because it's like Christine said, Cody, a husband has never been a part of picking his wife's dress. Is that something that has been done before? Of course. But for the most part, and I know because I got married, I went with my bridal party. I went with one person the first time. I went with my maid of honor one time, and then I went with my bridesmaid one time. And I sat and picked out my dress with them. I did not take my husband. As a matter of fact, my husband told me he did not want to do a first look because he wanted his first look to be when the doors of the church opened and I was walking down the aisle. Christine then comes back to say, well, the reason why she didn't want to share with us that she and Cody had gone to pick the dress is because ultimately she only wanted Cody's opinion. She says, well, Cody and I didn't do anything wrong in having him go and help me pick out a dress. He didn't pick the dress. He told me what he wanted. He gave his input, but it was ultimately my decision. As we've seen before, Robyn, you lean to Cody's decisions. Cody then says, I knew what I wanted her to wear from the beginning. Cody knew how he wanted everything to go from the beginning because that is how he is. He's a controlling person. He didn't like Christine's dress. Janelle didn't wear a dress. He had a big, beautiful wedding with Meri. I don't think he even ever mentions Meri's dress, but he does talk about how the reception was so wonderful. He was seeing people that he hadn't seen in a long time. He didn't even want to leave. So then he even goes on to say that Robyn and he gave his wives this special day. That right there made me so upset. You and Robyn did not give your other wives this special day. You had a party, you had a celebration, you invited them, but you didn't give them anything but a bunch of heartache after that woman came into the family. What you gave them was a slap in the face, and you gave them the proof that she was your favorite. Knowing the very little bit that I know about how Mormon weddings go, if I'm correct, you are not, as a person who is not a member of that faith, you cannot go to the wedding. I don't think. There is a process maybe, or you cannot go at all. But I have heard that women must wear a certain type of wedding dress, which is pure white, and then whatever else happens after that, then you can have a party that other people can come to. That is my understanding, but I am not a Mormon expert. That has been proven in the past. So again, Cody knew what he wanted her to wear. She ultimately made the decision, but I guarantee you that decision was based on what he told her. So if he told her he wanted her to wear a white dress with long sleeves, a pretty high neckline, and very plain, that is what Robyn showed up in to her wedding. So I'm sure he got his way. It was also proven in picking out the flowers and the cake. There was this whole, raise your hand if you want this flavor. And she ultimately picks the one that Cody wants her to pick. When she goes on to describe more of what happened that day, she couldn't even put a cohesive sentence together. Because why? When you lie, you stumble over your words. When you don't really know what you're going to say because you're being presented with something, you don't know what you're going to say to explain yourself because you have been busted. You got caught. It seems to me that after all these years, you should know that this question is going to come up. So you should have a question and answer ready. Well, why does that matter? Because ... You should have a question on play. I should be able to walk up to you in the street in Flagstaff and go, hey, what happened with the picking of the wedding dress? And you should have an answer off the dome. Just saying.
I've seen men in plural marriage sort of have a tendency to gravitate to one or two specific wives, and I always thought it was destructive. If I would have seen him be, show favoritism or not be fair, I would have really probably backed away from it really fast.
Okay, so here's why we can't believe this. I was going to do a separate video on Robyn's mother and how they are alike, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. We haven't really talked a whole lot about Robyn's mother, except that she has mentioned her a few times on the show. And I will point out that their lives are pretty parallel when it comes to how they have both been in plural marriage. Now, we all know that Robyn's mom has taught her to make sure that your husband is your best customer. This sounds a little creepy to me. It always has. But I will also say that the pretend crying and the pretend tears, that sort of show of emotion is also something that Robyn's mother does. Robyn's mother, if she feels emotional, will do the same sort of squinting of her eyes and trying to force this shake in her voice and these tears to come out. So Robyn gets it honest. So let's look at the ways that their marriages have actually been similar. Now, we know that Robyn was married to David Jessup and then divorced him, saying that he was abusive to her, la, la, la. She had 3 children and then left that marriage. Robyn's mother did the same thing. Robyn's mother was married. She was then had children with that man and then decided that this was not working out and got remarried into another plural family, which Robyn did the same thing. Okay, so I wonder if the ideas that her mother gave her about marriage is truly what helped to destroy this family. Robyn says and thinks that she wanted the big family with the children and the husband and the whatever, but she also did not want to be the wife who got turned out again. She saw her mom do it. She actually went through it, if you will, and she didn't want to have that be the case again. So she does everything in her power to make sure that she is the one that comes out on top, even if it means she has to pretend to agree with things that Cody says and does, because I've got to stay in favor. And we've talked plenty about how she's doing this out of survival mode. I think that seeing her on the first talkback, sitting on that couch, looking like she was like, blink once for yes, twice for no, and tap your fingers 3 times and doing a circle if you need help. Like, that's truly what I felt like. Girl, blink twice if you need help. Blink 3 times if you want us to call 911. I feel like she has to be in a situation she does not really want to be in order to make sure that there is food on her table, money in the bank, and an inheritance for her children.
In 7.5 months, truly won't be the little one.
All right, here's where my rant is going to start. I have said that I have been on the verge of doing a Robyn rant for about as long as I've been doing these videos, and here's where I'm just about to lose it. Christine seems to be the blame for everything falling apart. But in the clip that I just played, when you announced your pregnancy that you were so afraid to announce, because the kids did not react the way you wanted them to react the first time, it was Christine that you hear in the background saying, "Yay, congratulations." She comes over to hug you. That's the first one. In the second time that you announce a pregnancy because you're nervous to announce it, Christine is the one who says, "Yay, congratulations," and she comes over and she hugs you. Then you have the nerve to say that you have taken years to find forgiveness for the reactions that teenagers who had just been ripped from their home, just been ripped from their family and friends, just been ripped from where they grew up, to move to Las Vegas because their dad says, if we don't move, we're going to be in trouble. So you basically scared them into the fact that they had to move. You wanted them to stop all of that in their teenage brains and be happy that another mouth to feed was coming into the family. Now, they have shared with us that those were lean times. They were eating day-old bread. They were eating donuts. They weren't eating a whole lot of food until this show came along. But you wanted them to be excited for another mouth to feed to come into the family, let alone one of those teenagers had watched her mom hurt over the fact that she could not bear another child for her father. So she was upset about that. There's this saying that I want you to learn, Robyn. Be kind to people. You don't know what they're going through. And if you cared about these kids as much as you say you cared about them, you would have thought, wow, maybe something's going on. They've been having a hard time, that they had to move and they're cramped in these spaces, and then we pulled them far apart. I'm pregnant. That's got to be hard for them to hear. No. You're just worried about the fact that the teenagers didn't say anything right then. But the person that you blame for everything has been your ride or die. That's been the person who's been on your side. Christine even took you out to lunch to tell you it was not you that she did not like. It was not you that she had a problem with. It was the man that she thought she made a secure commitment to, only to be finding out by the look of things that you are the one he's in love with. That's got to be hard. But you can't fathom that because you just want everybody to bow down and kiss the ring.
Shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck ups to shut.
I had moved forward, 10, 11 years ago to have another baby. I don't know what my life would look like right now. I see how Cody is with different ones of his children, and I don't know where a 10 or 15-year-old of mine would fall into that. You know, knowing how he feels about me, I don't know.
Yeah, Meri, I have to say, I'm glad that you did not have another child with him also. Because I think that, you say that you don't know what a 10 or 15-year-old child of yours, what kind of state they would be in right now. I think that you answered your own question when you said, I've seen how he is with some of the other kids. And you probably see, whether you put it into words or not, that dependent upon how he feels about a wife is how he treats the children. And if that child did not treat him the way he felt was acceptable, they would be in the same boat as all of his children are, except the few that may speak to him. I don't know for sure that Gwendolyn speaks to him. I do not follow her Patreon. I think that she would like to have that relationship back with her father. I think Mykelti obviously has been the one who has spoken to him the most. But there's a part of me that feels like even that relationship has been a bit fractured because of some of the things that Mykelti has been able to see in rewatching these episodes. So yeah, a 10 or 15-year-old child just kind of entering that high school phase, watching his other siblings go through this thing, watching again Robyn be the favorite and her children be the favorite. Would Cody at 18 show up for your 15-year-old child and let them get a piercing? Where's Leon? How is that relationship? I think it was by God's design that you all did not have a child together. You would have, I think, been a wonderful mom. I think you would have been a great mom. But the dad that would have been chosen in that respect would not have been a dad that I would wish on any 10 or 15-year-old child. Would not. All right, y'all, those are the things that jumped out at me. Of course, next Friday, I believe we get another episode. And then again on that following Sunday, we get another episode. And that will then be the wrap to season 18. Again, I really do hope that they go ahead and do this style of review and talk back for season 19, because I would really just like to hear what some of them were thinking in some of those later episodes when things happen. I would love to hear what was Meri really thinking when Christine sat her down and said that she had a problem with her and would not have invited her to Maddie's birth. I would like to hear what was really going through their minds when the catfishing happened. And I think they do get into that, I think, on the next episode. But I would really like to just hear everyone's thoughts. Janelle's thoughts when Meri said, I'm going to divorce Cody and allow Robyn to marry him. There was what she told us. She was worried about taxes. But Janelle is a deeper ocean than that. She's not just worried about taxes. Taxes might be in there, but I think Janelle has some very definite thoughts. I think that she saw the crumbling of the family. In that episode, she did say that, it's just going to change things, but I would love to have her expound on that. So until we see the next episode, I hope that you continue to enjoy your holiday. And if you don't hear from me, know that I'm wishing you, again, a very happy holiday and an even better new year. All right, y'all, that's all I got. Peace, love, and hair grease. We out.